Was not planning on doing a video today, but I got some new stuff and I wanted to play with it. I've had the mic for a little bit. You guys have heard it. I think that it's made a huge difference. You can tell me if it's not, if you want to. Be mean, honestly, because it's just it's going to get. But I got a new desk. I got a new chair. And the chair is already paying huge dividends because some of you could probably tell when you were watching. I had to sit on the very edge of this very nice chair. It's a large recliner, which is awesome, but it's not great for podcasting because I can't just sit back in the thing. It made me look like not great, and also was just not great for sound quality either, and not comfortable. Like if you saw me start leaning like this, it wasn't because I was dozing off most of the time. It was because I was getting tired of sitting on the edge of that thing. So if you saw me start moving like this, shouldn't see me do that very often now. If it is, I don't know what to tell you. But this is cool too. Watch this. Watch this, guys. How is this happening? Am I magic? No. It's an electric desk, baby. Pretty cool. I like it, and it's going to allow me to kind of play with things, get to be closer to my buddy Griffey. You can actually tell that the jersey is autographed now and that I'm a man of means, actually. Just like all of the stuff that you see here, it was all gifts. Thank you guys. Not you guys. You guys didn't give me anything. Unless you're a family member who's watching this, and then that case, thank you very much. So yeah, I was not planning on doing a video, but I wanted to. And also just wanted to do two things. Number one, top 15 prospects. We'll do that video either Tuesday or Wednesday. Something like that. And then Thursday, live for the Mariner opener against the Guardians. I'll be here at about 6:45 Pacific time. You guys can come in, ask me any questions, react to Luis Castillo just dominating or Shane Bieber getting lit up, putting positive energy out there, even though I like Shane Bieber. But I think it's going to be really fun. We'll do a few live games. And a reminder, the coolest thing about this channel will be, in my personal opinion, I think it's cool, live reaction to every single Seattle Mariner baseball game after every single one. Promise you. Some of them might come out later than others. There might be a night where you get that recording at 7 a.m. and some days I might just want to get it done at 10:05. But there will be a recording and a reaction and a recap of every single Mariner baseball game. So excited. And I really appreciate everyone's support early on in this. And I'm going to beg a little bit to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and please come out Thursday. Please. I think it's going to be so much fun. But, we need you out there. We need you. We need you. And by we, I mean me. So, yeah, again, was not planning to record a video. I think I've said that 4 times now. Let's do some predictions, how I think the season's going to go, because we are so close to opening day. So close. All right, so American League East, I'll go Toronto, New York. I'm sorry, I said Toronto. Toronto, New York, Tampa Bay, Boston, Baltimore. I think Baltimore actually might be a really good team, but still finish last in that division. But there's a wide range of outcomes for all of those teams. I just think Toronto has the best lineup. I think Toronto has the best lineup in baseball. Central, I will go Minnesota, Chicago, Cleveland, Kansas City, Detroit. Detroit, Kansas City is a major flip. But so are those 3 teams that are going to finish in the top 3. I think Minnesota has the most complete roster and maybe the most upside. That starting pitching is really good. Having somebody like Bailey Ober as a 6th starter, that's impressive, man. Can it stay healthy? Can Lord Byron Buxton stay healthy? Can Joey Gallo be a semblance of the player that he was a couple of years ago? I said this on the podcast with Drew for RotoWire today. If they get the Los Angeles Dodgers version of Joey Gallo, that's going to be a really good team. That's a really good player. It's a flawed player who is never going to hit for average, and I know a lot of you fuddy-duddies don't love that stuff, but he can get on base, he can hit for power, and he's a very good defensive player. So that's my Central Division order. In the West, Houston. I'm sorry. You don't have to like it. Houston's the best team in the American League and certainly the best team in the AL West. Seattle. And then it's interesting. And I kind of did a coin flip on this one because I think one of these two teams is making the postseason. I'm going to say Texas 3 and Los Angeles 4 and AA Midland 5. I refuse to call that team anything else. It's embarrassing. Prove me wrong. Be happy to eat some sort of crow if that team does not finish last. It's absolutely dreadful. But I think Texas is a playoff team. My question marks are the starting rotation and also outfield depth. But they're in a great position to address both if they are in contention because they have an awesome system that they can deal deep with or deal from deep win. I don't know if either of those sentences actually made sense, but yeah. So I will go in terms of standings, in playoff standings. I will say that Toronto, no edit button. Toronto won. Jeez Louise. I'm doing so bad at this. Houston 1, Toronto 2, Minnesota 3, Seattle 4, New York 5. The Yankees will be one of the wild card teams, and Texas 6. I will say that Texas beats Minnesota. And then I will say that Seattle beats New York. And then I will say, so that sets up Toronto against Seattle again. And I will say Seattle wins again. Toronto's going to hate us if that happens. They already don't really love us after what happened. And then I will say that Houston beats Texas fairly convincingly. So that sets up a Houston and Seattle ALCS. Oh, can you imagine how excited this city will be? It would be amazing to see Houston in 5. I'm sorry. I don't want to be right about that. I just think Houston is so clearly the best team in the American League, even with some injury stuff, even losing the Cy Young Award winner. They're just too good. I don't want to be right. And it's not because I hate Houston. It's because I really want Seattle to get to a World Series. My grandma deserves a World Series so much. So much. I'm going to play the grandma card a lot this year, by the way. For better or worse, the grandma card will be played. National League in the East, I will go. This division's really tough. I'm going to say that the Braves win it just because I like their depth, although the Kyle Wright injury really scares me. Really scares me. Shoulder stuff, not great. I will say Atlanta 1, New York 2, even with the Edwin Diaz injury. I still think they're the second best team. They might be this. They may be, even with the Edwin Diaz injury, still the best team in the National League, to be honest with you. Well, I'll go with Atlanta just slightly ahead. New York 2, Philadelphia 3, Miami 4, and single A Washington 5th. Wow. Washington Oakland will be an interesting series to watch because those two teams are just wretched. Wretched. If those two teams play in the postseason, if those two teams played in the World Series, especially, I'll just delete this account. I don't want any evidence of what I just happened. In the Central, I like the Cardinals a lot. My concern, of course, is the starting pitching, but I think they have a deep enough system to address it. They seem more confident in it than I do, but I got the Cardinals. And by the way, Jordan Walker being called up is awesome. Awesome. Good for the Cardinals. Good for baseball. He is such a fun player to watch. I'll go St. Louis 1, Milwaukee 2, Cubs 3, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh both really bad, but I'll go Pirates 4, Cincinnati Reds 5. Yeah, why not? I think there's only one postseason team coming from that division. I think there'll be 3 in the National League. And in the West, Dodgers, Padres, easy, the top of that division. 3, 4, 5 is a little bit interesting. I got Colorado at 5. Maybe a little bit better than some people are saying. I don't think they're as bad as AA Midland or Washington are, but they're not good. They are not good. They would not compete in any division in baseball. I'll say San Francisco 3, Arizona 4. San Francisco, Arizona, very similar. Watch out for Arizona in the future. They're building something special there. I think it's a couple years away, at least 1 year away, probably a year away. Okay. So I'll say that the Dodgers are still the 1 seed, even though the bottom of the lineup scares the crap out of me. That Gavin Lux injury is bad. That really hurt them, I think. But they have the best farm system in baseball in terms of depth, and they can go out and get whatever the heck they want. So I'll go Los Angeles 1, Atlanta 2. I'm going to say Cardinals 2. Why not? Cardinals, congratulations on the bye. Your pizza is terrible. Your fan base can sometimes be a little weird to me, but every fan base can. So we'll go Cardinals 2, Atlanta 3, Mets 4, Phillies 5, Padres 6. I will say the Padres fall to Atlanta. I don't love that. The Padres are such a fun baseball team, but I just don't know if they're completely built for postseason success right now. Good baseball team, but kind of worried a little bit about them in the postseason. I think they'll get there though. And then who would that create for the 4-5? That would be, oh, that's fun. Phillies Mets. Whew. That's a really good one. And the Phillies should be healthy. I will say that the Mets come back and win that series. I love Scherzer Verlander at the top of a rotation. Really wish Edwin Diaz is there to close out games, but I'll go with the Mets. The Phillies had such a great postseason run. It's very tough to do that twice. Okay, so that would mean that the Dodgers are playing the Mets, right? And then the Cardinals against the Braves. I think that's right. I will go Atlanta. Atlanta. I think the NLCS is going to be Braves Mets. To hell with whatever I just said. I think that's what we're going to have. I got the Mets. Congratulations, DJ Short, and all of the very weird fans there. Look, it's not because I dislike the Mets, but watching Mets fans overreact to stuff is hilarious. It's hilarious. I love that fan base so much. But it is so funny to watch them overreact to stuff. And sometimes the reaction is correct. There's no doubt about it. But I'm going to say the New York Mets are advancing to the World Series against the Astros. Congratulations, Astros in 5. Again, you don't have to like it because, in fact, you shouldn't. It's not about what's happened with Houston in the past or anything like that. It's just not interesting to watch teams dominate unless you're a huge fan of the Astros. And if you are, good for you, man. This has to be so fun, especially with all the crap that you dealt with in the earlier part of last decade. As bad of a baseball team as I've ever seen in my entire life. So take this good because you certainly had to appreciate some awful stuff. Hopefully, Seattle will be able to say the same thing. That's my hope. But I think the Astros won it all. All right, some awards. American League Rookie of the Year. This was a runaway thing for me for a little bit, but now that Anthony Volpe is getting called up, by the way, great, awesome, super excited to see it. Still going to go Gunnar Henderson. I just think he's a little bit more complete baseball player right now. There could be a narrative thing here, especially a shortstop for the New York Yankees if he performs well. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that can do very well with John Q. Voter. Yeah, that could be a thing. But I'm going to go with Henderson just because I think he has a little bit more complete season. MVP, I'm always going Shohei Ohtani. Look, it's boring as hell. It's just like the Astros stuff that I just talked about. But I would have voted Ohtani MVP last year. As good as Aaron Judge was, one of the greatest offensive seasons of our time. I am still going with Shohei Ohtani because you just can't replicate what he does. You can't. It's an ace pitcher and a middle of the order hitter in one person. Show me Aaron Judge on the mound. Show me what he does. Is that fair to Aaron Judge? Of course not. But that's not fair to Ohtani to not give him the due because of, the fact that I think some people got almost bored with Ohtani. Please do not get bored with Shohei Ohtani. Please do not. If somebody's probably gonna like wonder if I predict Shohei Otani being traded, nah, I don't think so. I think the Angels are gonna ride this thing out and hope that they can sign him and offer him $500 million. But somebody else is gonna offer him $500 million, and I think he'll sign elsewhere. Would not shock me if he's a Mets. Boy, I'm saying a lot of nice things about the Mets right now. An American League Cy Young winner, Luis Castillo. I just think he's primed for it. Stuff is so good. I think the changeup's going to be better this year. But even if it's not, even if it's just a third pitch, which was weird because Luis Castillo had such a dominant change a couple of years ago, that fastball slider combination, good luck. All he has to do is throw strikes and stay healthy. And he's as good as anybody. Is it worth pointing out that the American League aces aren't quite as good as the National League right now? I think so. Garrett Cole certainly in the conversation as well. Dylan Cease, awesome. Although I really worry about him with walks. It's just because of there is some effort to that delivery, and he kept him to a low roar. But I am going to go with Luis Castillo, American League Cy Young Award winner. You are all welcome. National League Rookie of the Year. This kind of became a two-person race after we found out about Jordan Walker. It's close. There's a couple of really good options, and I think Kodai Senga belongs in the conversation as well as a pitcher. Always kind of hesitant to vote for pitchers or predict pitchers. Nobody's ever going to give me the chance to vote as much as I would love to. If somebody's listening and somebody can get me into the BBWAA, I love to make fun of you guys, but that would be a career dream, man. To get to vote for an award would be, that'd be awesome. That'd be really cool. Probably sound thirsty as heck right now, but yeah, I would love to do that. But I'll go with Rookie of the Year. I'll go with Corbin Carroll. Just a little more complete package, similar to Volpe. By the way, I think Volpe is going to steal plenty of bases, and he probably will steal more than Gunnar Henderson. But I think Henderson's more likely to hit for average, similar power, similar-ish power. Volpe might have an advantage there too. Might be talking myself out of this. I think Volpe got a really good chance, but I think Henderson's just a little bit more ready for success right now. And in the National League, I'll go with Carroll for the same reason. I think Walker might have some average issues. His patience at the plate was not great in the Grapefruit League. Certainly showed plenty of patience in the minors before that, though. So I don't want to be too negative about this. But I will go Carroll, and Walker a close second, and Senga close-ish third. MVP. Oh, boy. There's a lot of really good options here. And again, I'm doing this real time thinking. Let's go with Mookie. I think Mookie Betts is going to have a really big year. And it's just kind of time. You know what I mean? Like, I know he's won before, but I think it's time for his National League MVP. Financial flexibility. Traded for financial flexibility. Mookie Betts. Never get over it. Never get over it. And I will never get over people who gave me so much crap for being hard on that trade. Awful trade. Awful trade in process. Awful trade in results. Do not talk to me about that trade unless you want to apologize. I'm just kidding. I'm always up for a spirited. No, I don't. And I hate that. hate that embrace debate stuff. That'll never be my style. I'll just say okie dokie to you if you disagree. But I will judge you silently. Very passive aggressive. And then Cy Young is the other one here. A lot of good options here. A lot of good options. I'm kind of tempted to say Yu Darvish just because he's due for one too. Spencer Strider's a great candidate. Corbin Burns is really good. Mets have a bunch of guys who could win this. Spencer Strider's a really good candidate. Max Fried, I think, is an underrated candidate. Let's go Yu Darvish. I think he was underrated how good he was last year, and I think there might be some narrative to it too. I think narrative really doesn't matter in sports and with award voting. I think that this might be his year. I think that he might win it. Yeah, I think that's it. Probably should have ended this video on World Series winner, but again, I didn't have any plan for this, and there's going to be a lot of that. There's going to be a lot of nonsense. It's going to be fun. I'm going to have fun. I hope. I really hope so. Let's go with the Mariners record as something to predict. I will say 92 and 70. 92 and 70. Kind of conservative a little bit. And I will say Houston wins the division by about 6 games. I'll say they go 98 and 64. Any hot takes that I have about the Mariners for 2023? I ask myself as if somebody's asking me. Not really. I think they will make a big trade. Don't know who. Could be Brian Reynolds. I think Julio has a 30-30 season. I almost said again, but he didn't have one last year. He certainly would have if not for some injury stuff. Let's see. Hot takes. I think they will have a 20-game winner this year. And it may not be Luis Castillo. I could see like Robbie Ray or Logan Gilbert getting that 20 wins. Wins are obviously a very, very flawed stat, and flawed is a understatement, but I do think somebody on the team will win 20 games. I'll predict, this might be a little bit of a hot take. I'll predict Andres Munoz ends up winning the team in saves. Just kind of a hunch. I can see Paul Sewald getting a bunch. I think Diego Castillo will get some as well. But I'll go with Munoz ending up leading it. There's the way it'll work out. They're going to use him, I think, Munoz, in the situation where you need him to get the biggest 3 outs. And I'll just predict that enough of them are going to be save situations that he will end up on the top spot. But it's really a close race. But yeah, do you guys have predictions? Drop them in that comment thing and tell me who you like to win and who you'd love to win, because it should be the Seattle Mariners if you're here, but I get it if not. I love viewers from all over. Wish there was a way I could see like on YouTube, and there probably is, like, wow, I've got somebody from Bangladesh watching my video, or Melbourne, Australia, or something like that. Be fun, but I can't. But yeah, those are my predictions. I wish I was predicting the Mariners to win the World Series, but I'm not. I'm predicting them to go to the ALCS, though. That's pretty good. You'd sign up for the ALCS right now, right? There's a good question. You tell me right now. Seattle Mariners lose in the ALCS, and it's unfortunately to the Houston Astros, but let's just say to anybody, does it matter? If the Seattle Mariners end their season in the ALCS, is it a disappointment? I don't think so, but you tell me.